We've always had room in our hearts for film and TV, not just on Netflix, but tape and disc in theaters. Also, God forbid that they take it all away and leave us nothing to broadcast to loyal listeners. We'll binge watch every single movie, so you don't have to. What else are we here for? Coming to you every week. Listen to us while you're busy. Luckily, we forgot to grow up.
Hey everybody, it's Craig.
Hey, it's Scott.
Hey, it's Andrew.
Welcome to episode number 70 of the Forgot to Grow Up podcast. On this week, we are going to talk about the best toy-based movie to come out since Toy Story, or series of movies to come out since Toy Story. And I'm definitely talking about the Lego movies. We're going to talk about the ones that have already come out. Maybe we'll talk about the one that's coming out.
All you gotta know is everything is awesome.
Yeah, everything is awesome. Everything is cool
waiting
when
for
you're part
someone
of
to
the
make that
Forgot to
joke.
Grow Up team, yeah.
Waiting to see who was going to make that one first.
It completely slipped my mind. Otherwise, I probably would have.
I thought you were going to start it off on welcome to our Everything is Awesome edition.
The Everything is Awesome edition. Man, what a missed opportunity.
Jeez.
I feel like that's probably been taken
We should
plenty
have
of times, though.
we should discuss this before we started recording. That would have been a
but
good
do we
idea.
ever do that?
Absolutely.
That's okay.
I super hate you right now.
I see everything.
My eyes. My eyes.
We could always put that as the title.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
probably will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be in there as the Everything is Awesome edition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lego movies. First of all, before we launch into the Lego movies, let's specify that we're not talking about the really crappy low budget.
Not the Netflix
Animated
original
versions.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we do not want to discuss those because there is a significant jump in quality.
Yeah, those are like B-level, like they would have been on Family Channel 10, 20 years ago before Netflix was a thing. Like we would have never. Yeah, no, we're not talking about those ones that you like, Justice League something or superheroes or I think there's so many random ones.
There are Ninjago ones that aren't.
We're
Aren't
talking
the
about the
Lego
theatrical
Ninjago
released
movie.
ones today.
Yes,
The three.
the theatrical releases.
So there just three Lego movie, Lego Batman, Ninjago at the moment, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing one, that I wasn't forgetting.
As far as I know.
Yeah, it's Lego.
That's exactly how I felt.
Batman and Ninjago and Lego.
And Lego Movie 2 soon to come out, or
The second
might
part.
already be out by the time this episode comes out.
I
Potentially.
think it's this weekend coming up. So yeah, should be the same.
Yeah, okay.
I actually don't know. Is it out already?
I have no idea, to be honest. It's sometime in
It comes out
February.
Friday.
Comes out Friday.
Comes out.
That's
comes
our
out the
answer.
8th.
So it came out on Friday. If you're listening to this on Sunday.
Or any time after that release.
Yep.
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 Words.
Some people
Lego
listen to it on
movies.
Sunday. Yeah, let's talk about it.
What did you guys think when you first heard about the Lego movies as an idea?
I had the same reaction as I had for Transformers. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, do they really need to make this? And then I immediately put that to bed when
That's
I
exactly
saw
how
it
I felt too.
the first of like 6 times.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, when I first heard this, I'm like, really? This is the like. I was honestly like, this is the point our society has gotten. We have to turn like Lego toys, but they were a little smarter than I gave them credit for when I thought about this, because I didn't think about the idea that they do have all these various, other
Universes,
franchises that they
yeah.
can draw from because they have the license, via toy rights, and that gives them this different avenue to approach these different franchises in a definitely kid-friendly way, very, very kid-friendly way, but
Yeah, the first time I heard of it, I was like, what are they going to do? Just like have a guy going around like Lego City?
yeah,
And I assumed that's what it was going to be.
exactly.
Not Lord Business.
Yeah, not every franchise that Warner Brothers has owns thrown into a movie. Like I was watching Lego Batman last night, and like with all the villains that he gets
Yeah.
from the Phantom Zone, I'm just thinking, I was like, oh yeah, okay, there's your Warner Brothers property. There's another Warner Brothers property. Then I was
Yep.
like, is Godzilla a Warner Brothers property? Apparently.
Apparently, yeah.
But
Lord
yeah,
of the Rings.
exactly. And it's like I didn't even
But
think
they
of
had
using
the
those.
Raptors from Jurassic Park.
Which
Is that Warner
Universal.
Brothers?
I think that's
Yeah.
Universal, actually. So,
Does,
yeah.
Yeah.
Does making a little raptor out of Lego count as copyright infringement?
Well,
I'm not sure.
Because it doesn't seem like it.
I feel like
Well, they definitely rip it off in the trailer for Lego Movie 2. Because they have the, what's his name, Rex Starvest or whatever the fuck his name is. The other version of Chris Pratt, who's like a astronaut, archaeologist, dinosaur tamer, who's got pet raptors. And that's supposed to be like a joke because he's...
I think that could fall under satire then.
That's fair, yeah.
So then you don't need a copyright for that.
or they just ask permission, and some
Yeah.
companies were cool with it, and some, aka Disney with Star Wars, wasn't as cool with it.
You know what? Not
Well,
everybody
'cause-
likes Disney.
Well, my original
They do it anyways.
my original thought was that maybe it had to be tied with like the toys, like, oh, maybe they get the right, like maybe they have rights to it because they make these toys, you know, the Star Wars
Yeah.
kits and the Batman Lego kits and etc. But then I was like, oh, Star Wars actually isn't in any of the Lego stuff, and then that's Disney, so that's where I'm like, okay, maybe there's a little more. They just ask permission or have some kind
Yeah.
of like handshake deal kind of deal going on, or maybe it is just enough into satire or parody that.
Well, then you obviously would have made a satire of Star Wars because that would have made sense.
That's true. That's very
And
true.
So maybe it is, like you're saying, a more of a
What
a
could they give
verbal
permission
agreement.
for? Yeah.
Yeah, less of a licensing and here's your royalties, as much as there's probably some sort of cash kickback.
Well, yeah,
going
it
on
also
there.
could be
Oh, for
like
sure.
they sell it as them as, oh, if we put your Lego, you know, Jurassic Park things into this movie as commercial to sell more Lego Star Wars
We'll
or
probably
Lego
sell
Jurassic
more
Park
that you make
sets.
actual money on.
Yeah, exactly, that they get a chunk of. So
Yeah,
it's all connected in a weird way with Hollywood. So they find ways to figure this stuff out.
That's possible. Welcome to the business edition of the Forgot to Grow Up podcast.
We started off talking about Lego, and we're still talking about Lego.
business, numbers.
Numbers. Is this working?
Yes.
Yay!
The Lego movie.
The Lego movie. I remember, and I've told the story before, I remember when we went to see it the first time.
Yep.
When we drove all the way to Niagara Falls.
Yep.
It was
All the
sold the fuck out.
Yep.
Oh shit!
Sold out.
So we didn't go there. We went to
Yeah,
Walmart.
era
so we
before
pulled up.
churches
Yeah, so we pulled up the time for Wellington. We're like, we can make this, and then we did.
And Wellington was empty because it always is.
because it was
Actually,
Welland.
it was fairly full
there
though.
was
No,
quite a
actually,
few
no. It
people
was
there.
ridiculous how full like Seaway always was. Considering it's like we have 50,000 people in this town. There's 10,000 seats. Not really, but
No,
not even close. Not,
maybe like 10 seats.
maybe 1,000 in the whole theater between all like 6 cinemas. And that's
Not a big
really
place,
pushing it.
not a big
No,
place.
not at all.
But it
But
was
the
a good
Lego
movie.
movies, it was
Oh
great.
god.
And that
That
song,
was-
like
Everything is awesome.
that.
The best part of that song is that it's played throughout the whole movie. Every background thing
Yeah.
is everything is awesome. Just they changed the pitch, they changed the cadence. Like the part where they're in the Old West saloon where they go to meet Vitruvius for the first time. They're playing on the organ. That's what it is. They're playing Everything is Awesome, just as super weird like pitch organ.
So basically, Tegan and Sarah in the Lonely Island made a ton of money.
Ton of
off
money.
that
Yep.
movie.
Yeah. Constantly playing.
Yep. The whole time. So I only saw the Lego movie and Lego Batman, which Lego Batman was excellent as well. We haven't really
That's
talked
my
about that yet.
favorite of them. Yes.
We're gonna get there.
But Andrew, you've seen Lego Ninjago, I assume.
I have. I did not watch it prior to this podcast, though,
That
so
doesn't
it's
matter,
not
neither
totally
did I.
fresh in my mind.
That's okay. Tell
You're
me
the one
about
who
it.
knows anything about it. Like I
What-
know that it's called Ninjago.
Okay,
What makes
Pulling
it,
it-
What makes it good like the other movies?
they have a lot. It's a lot dumber of a movie. Like
Dumber
it's
of a
not
movie.
as catered towards having adult jokes in there for the parents to get. And I think a lot of that might just come from the fact that Ninjago came out like when kids, like more recently for kids.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, it was just like we had basic kits growing up, and maybe we got into Star Wars or Batman ones, but
They've also
for the
got-
most part,
They've also got like a pretty extensive library of Lego Ninjago
TV
like,
series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Other
Netflix original stuff.
exactly. So and that's all geared towards kids. So I think that might have been
Yeah.
a contributing factor. They've already seen it, so they're like, oh, there's a movie in theaters about it, and that's where you run into that.
However, it was pretty decent. I can't remember anything off the top of my head joke-wise, but I know there was a couple because I laughed. But Jackie Chan plays the mentor,
Yes.
and
list here.
yeah, it starts off with like a kid who goes into this old Chinese shop to get away from some bullies, and Jackie Chan's like, you need to go play with your friends, and he's like, I don't have any friends.
Isn't this
And
Karate
then-
Kid?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah. The leg karate kid?
But they couldn't call it that because
No.
that would be uncreative.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So they get into the whole story about how this kid, he's the I forget what he is. He's not the lightning, whatever his element is. He's one of the Ninjago guys, and he's got this dragon. And the Ninjago guys just save the day from Garmadon all the time. Garmadon's the villain. And then I think Justin Theroux actually plays Garmadon.
Yes.
Not that matters.
Nope.
But
He was in Star Wars.
it-
Not that anyone would remember.
yes. But you end up having him being one of the green Ninjago guy's dad. And then it's just their whole relationship throughout the movie, like him being the dad, but then them trying to rekindle, but also being like, I'm evil, and I'm like, oh, you're good, and then they just fight that, and at the end, whole new world. And I'm not talking Aladdin.
A whole new world.
Oh, that's.
Did you say Pocahontas?
I thought that was Pocahontas. That's a different song, I guess. I haven't
No,
seen either
that's-
of those
that-
forever.
Well,
It's
that
Colors
is
of the
the
Wind.
new world, so I'll give you that one. But it was a pretty decent movie. It was not even remotely close to being on the same like playing field as the Lego Batman or the Lego Movie. But it's a good movie.
That's good. I'm sure eventually I'll get around to watching it.
I might eventually. If I have a child one day.
Or if you kidnap somebody one day.
That's don't even suggest that. I would never do that. I don't want responsibility for another human being.
Not because it's wrong to kidnap a kid or illegal to kidnap a kid. You just don't want the responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty valid. Yeah.
Groceries.
It's the same
that's
reason.
Increasing my electricity bill.
It's the same reason I don't want to go into drug dealing. I just can't handle the stress of having a small business on top of my main career at this point.
Exactly.
Like,
Who can handle that
it's-
kind of stress?
the overhead is it's so much logistics to organize, suppliers, and I got to handle cash, and then I have to have bodies for transactions. Like, it's just too much work.
It really is. See, you're getting me. You understand. You got to think about
do.
the consequences of your actions and how they add to responsibility to your life, which is the number one thing we don't want in life.
Less of a morality question and more of an economics question. is
Exactly.
basically where we've landed on this.
Life is about numbers.
Business, numbers.
Numbers.
Yes. We can't make that joke enough.
No. You didn't let me finish
No, I didn't.
because I died.
We went off on a whole thing there.
Oh, I was just making it. I was just making
a
it. Yeah.
reference.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
my
was just
bad.
making a Lego
I
movie reference.
caught it when you finished it.
Because I died.
Because I died.
Having Morgan Freeman play Vitruvius was a fantastic decision.
The cast for that, I guess that's kind of the thing with the cast for Lego Ninjago, is it's a bit disappointing.
It's a little more of a watered
comparison-
down cast, yeah.
In
A very
comparison to-
B-list.
Exactly. Well, I mean, you got Jackie Chan, Dave Franco, Fred Armisen, Camille Nanjiani, Zach Woods, other people.
Are you going to turn around and tell me that isn't B-list?
I'm not going to tell you that's
Besides
B-list.
Jackie Chan, I would agree. Jackie Chan is always an A+ in my heart. Okay, guys.
That's fair.
I've seen him
That's where you
break
go.
way too many
This is-
bones for my entertainment not to respect him.
Now you're just this is just like last week when we were doing our
Legacy
what do we
stuff,
call
yes.
it? Legacies, yeah, legacy picks. Ugh. Scott, did you ever see the Lego Movie?
I saw the Lego Movie. See, I'm not saying much about that one though, because I haven't rewatched it in a while. Unfortunately,
Get your head out of your ass, Scott. Jesus.
Well, apparently, it was taken off Netflix without me knowing, and so I stuck to Lego Batman, which is still my favorite among them, to be honest, because it's got Batman.
That's fair. That's fair.
And Will Arnett.
And Will Arnett, and like I love him as Batman. I love their like I love the comedic take on Batman, like the fact that nobody
where he's dark and brute. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but his dark and brooding is like ridiculous.
Exactly.
Over the top.
Everyone's like, just cut it, just stop it.
Exactly. And I just thought it was such a like great like just different take on Batman and like the Lego franchise. So I just love it.
The twist of it being like a weird almost romance story between Batman and Joker 2. I didn't see that coming.
Did not see that coming, but I thought it was good for like children, teaching them a little lesson about how
I hate you. I hate you too.
I love that. It's just
or
it's so
them all telling the Joker he deserves better, like all the big bad monsters. You just no. We are over Batman. What?
It's just so ridiculous, and it's just, but it's at the same time, it's so like, it's so kind of true to the Batman mythos that it's like, well, no, you can't argue, you can't say that that's not Batman because it kind of is. It's just this different take that you're like,
it's more of a romantic twist, and the fact that Jenny Slate is Harley Quinn, that always is fantastic.
It's just a really good. I'm looking at the cast, and this might be the best of the.
Yeah.
Of the three
it's
so far.
great.
Will Arnett,
Dawson.
Michael Cera, Rosario Dawson.
Hello, secret camera.
That is my favorite line
Yeah.
of the entire movie. That and You Complete Me. And he does it every single time, too.
Every time.
Zach Galifianakis, Jenny Slate, Jason Mantzoukas, Conan O'Brien, Doug Benson, Billy D. Williams, Zoe Kravitz.
Who does Jason Mantzoukas
It's like
play?
genuinely
He's
funny
Scarecrow.
people.
Eddie Izzard. Yeah, it's just a bunch of ridiculous people.
Exactly. And it fits into this world that it's just like, yeah, it's super ridiculous. And it's just like, but I love it. And it's just so, I love the imagination of it too. That's like, they stick to the idea that this is all Lego and they can do Lego things like he builds the bat, whatever, bat plane jet. I don't know what you call it. Yeah, the bat. I think it was just the bat because it was just a bat thing. But anyways, he built that and that was kind of an homage to the fact that we would build stuff with it, but also the video games, the Lego video games that we've been getting for like 10 years of all the different franchises. Yep. And so it's just, I really like just how they played with those. They stuck into like the format, this is a Lego world, but do whatever you want with it after that, right? Like,
as long as you have the characters.
Exactly, yeah. And it's just like, okay, cool. And I want to get all the sets you can get from that movie, except they're just hundreds of dollars for half of them. But
business write-off.
I think this podcast has to generate money before we start writing off stuff.
That's fair. That's fair.
We could always file taxes and just say that we had a net loss.
Yeah.
No one from the CRA listens to this.
Knock on wood.
I mean, if you do, hey, welcome.
Welcome.
No, like right from top to bottom, that movie's just ridiculous. Like the fact that every time Batman looks at Babs, like Barbara Gordon, I just died in your arms tonight. Every time.
Every time. It's so great. And then at the end, though, being like, this is my platonic female friend.
Right. Yeah.
Just like, I love that little. My favorite line is probably, or part is when Alfred's like, sir, I've seen you go through this before in 2016 and 20. You see all the
and that weird stage
back
in 1966.
I just love that, that meta kind of commentary on the fact that he's been around forever and he's been he's had all these incarnations, so why not make him a Lego dude? Just love it.
When they cast Will Arnett as Batman, I was like, how the fuck is he going to be Batman? He doesn't look like Batman. He doesn't sound like Batman.
Oh yes, he does.
But yes, he does. Apparently, he does. Prior to witnessing it, though, he did not.
No, I mean he's got a bit of a deeper, gravelly voice. He just put it over the top for this movie.
I pulled up some of the Lego Batman quotes because a lot of them aren't one-liners in this movie. No. It's exchanges.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like there is no us. Or Joker's like, you want to play games? Do you, Batman? Save the city or catch your greatest enemy? And Batman's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You think you're my greatest enemy? I was like, who else drives you to one-up them the way I do? Batman. Superman. Superman's not a bad guy. I like to fight around.
I love that line.
You're seriously saying that? Yeah. You're seriously saying that there's nothing special about us? There is no us. Never will be. You mean nothing to me. No one does. It's super dark.
Yeah. So just so many great like lines and the interaction between all the different characters. I just love it. And the imagination, like the fact that Alfred dresses up in like 5 different things that are just references to old random stuff. I'm just like the 60s suit he puts on when he's got the mustache on the Batman suit. I just love that.
He's like, I miss the 60s.
I miss the 60s.
The fact that was it Ralph Fiennes who plays him? That's fantastic.
Yeah. It's so great.
But both of these movies, they start off with some pretty decent jokes too. Like they hit you with it right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like things that as a kid when you watch, they're not really jokes, but as adults, you're like, haha. Like in the Lego movie where it starts off with Vitruvius trying to protect the piece of resistance. And then he's like, he's coming. Cover your butts.
Which gets a laugh out of the children.
And he gets a laugh out of me too.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
They open the door and it's like, bah! Dead. But then
Lego Batman's open with the all important movies start with black.
Yeah. Warner Bros. Or Brothers. I don't know. Michael Jackson quote. No, I said that. But even after that, it gets into like when they're flying the plane and they list like the obtuse amount of explosive devices, like 11,000 sticks of dynamite, 4,000 pieces of, and 2 best friends. Like just a total upbeat twist.
Yeah, then they go to the airport like people and they're like,
Yeah.
well, you are 2 best friends. That sounds go ahead.
Yeah, we say good. And then they play rock, paper, scissors, and the one guy's like, I'm a loser at home and I'm a loser at work.
I love that line because I'm just like, who is the writer who was just having like, we just had to put their soul in there just a little bit, you know, like. Fuck.
Because that is a joke that only adults watching it is gonna get.
No, it's so true.
Like no kid's gonna be like, I'm a loser at home, I'm a loser at school. Like no little kid watching that is gonna feel that way. Like,
we could just laugh at the fact that he says loser twice.
Twice.
He says loser.
That's it.
I imagine.
Loser at home and I'm a loser at work. Man. I could honestly watch these movies back to back to back nonstop.
Yeah, no, I could definitely pop Lego Batman back on right now, even though I watched it last night.
I watched it 4 times at work today.
Oh,
I'm not even ashamed. Well, I didn't watch it. I listened. I listened to it.
No, I get that, but I could totally understand how just having it on though, because it's so funny and it's got heart too. That's one great thing about Lego Batman.
Oh, you watch. It has growth.
Yeah, you get the feels. You're just like, oh, Batman, you learn something.
He grows as a human being.
You learn about having people close. You learn about how family.
And then they got some super deep
shit, but better.
We got some super deep shit about Batman telling Alfred, like, you don't have a family. What would you know about having a surrogate child? And you're like, oh, that's you. You're the surrogate child. And then he realizes it.
Later, yeah, he's like, my father figure.
Yeah. How dare you tell me how to raise my unwanted child?
I like how like he gets adopted. He's just like Bruce Wayne's just totally zoned out, staring at.
Listening some classic rock.
Exactly, and just ends up adopting this kid like
by accident.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was being sarcastic.
God. Yeah. Lego Batman, so great, so
Yeah.
great.
I still can't believe Mariah Carey's the mayor. Like, of all people to cast as the voice of the mayor, Mariah Carey?
I missed that. I totally didn't realize that.
Like, did she ask to be in it, or did they ask her?
That's a good question. Maybe.
Yeah, like that's
Maybe
a weird one.
Maybe she accidentally wandered into the wrong studio while she was recording her latest album, and they just were like,
And
"Okay, we got
said
it." She doesn't even
She
know
said
she's
a-
in it. Yeah.
Yeah, she said a couple things, and that was it.
Well, the Bear doesn't have that many lines, though, so I feel like you could easily get that
No.
out of her in like 15
Probably,
minutes.
yeah.
There were integral scenes, but that is an interesting choice because it's not like anyone's going to see it because Mariah Carey's got a few, but maybe they are. Maybe there are individuals who love Mariah Carey that much that they're gonna go see Lego Batman for her couple minutes. But that's
You
real
say?
stretch.
Did you say integral? Is that what you said? Not to get off topic.
Yeah, he definitely did. I tried to let it
Okay.
go, but you had to bring it up.
Because I was racking my brain. I was like, is that a word?
It's an integral.
Integral. Okay.
What did I say?
Sorry, Scott.
Integral.
Okay, yeah, that's yeah.
I tried to let it go. Tried.
I couldn't. This is not how Batman dies. I'm so psyched for the second one to come out, guys. Kendall and I are going to see it on Saturday.
I tried to convince Sam to go.
She doesn't want to go see it.
She does not want to go see it.
I try to not shit talk her on the podcast.
You and me both, buddy. You and me both.
But are we sure she's the one at this point? She doesn't want to go see the Lego movie,
It's
the second part.
Fine.
Craig, I will go with
I'll
you.
go by myself.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, I'm not
That's
doing
exact
that.
with me, it's
I'm,
fine.
I'm not gonna.
There we
go
go. I'm
by
sure
I-
he'd love to go
Yeah,
see
exactly. I have a reason to go see kids' movies.
it. There we go. I have a girlfriend.
myself. That counts. You've got somebody
Actually,
to accompany you.
Kendall and I are watching the Lego movie on her birthday as a lead-in, which really makes it more like my birthday.
Yeah.
But I digress. But she's like, I've never seen it. And I was like, no, we watched it. Canada Day weekend. Craig and I were dying of heat stroke.
Yeah, we definitely did. It was on.
We watched it, and then we kicked her ass at Catan. She's like, we didn't watch it. We were focused on Catan. I was like, I watched it.
You might not have watched it, but we did.
I watched it.
We were totally aware it was on.
Yeah, I quoted along with the movie.
Yeah.
So I'm psyched. This is a Lego week for me.
Very
I'm not
Lego
complaining.
week, yes.
But really, I mean, this is just like the Tom Cruise episode. There's
I
nothing
feel like
you
we
can
did
say.
nothing to
Yeah,
add to this.
there's nothing you
We
can
really-
say
I
other than
haven't seen
watch
the
it.
other
Like
two
it's just
long enough,
it's so
yeah.
good.
That's the hard thing about
I-
comedies, I find too. It's just like we just end up reciting our.
What are you gonna
favorite
do, say the jokes?
Yeah, it's like we can't talk about set pieces. It's the animation design was great. I guess we could point to that, but I mean,
Well, I'll also say I like that they give, especially in the Lego movie, more so in the Lego Batman one, where they give you the names of the pieces.
yeah,
Or like the numbers legitimately affiliated with it.
yeah.
Yep.
And the animation style, like it almost looks like they did it themselves, filmed it, and then superimposed that into a better animation style. Because everything moves exclusively the way that
Yeah, no,
a
it's
Lego
great.
piece
Like,
would.
I love how it sticks to the Lego mechanics of everything.
Yeah.
Like even see
Like-
one point them walking, like their feet getting stuck in the holes as they walk on stuff. And you're
Yeah,
yes.
like pop, 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 pop.
Yeah, it's,
Or even when Emmett's doing his morning workouts, he's like, "I'm so pumped up!" Jumping jacks. Huh.
yeah.
Can't move his legs
Yeah.
sideways. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very, very natural Lego
Yeah.
feel.
Or when he's in the shower and he's like, "Brush your hair," and it goes from being like the crazy messed up like faux hawk hair to perfectly combed generic face hair.
Yep. Their use of Lego for literally everything
Yeah.
is part of what makes these movies better than anything else
Oh, absolutely.
related to Lego.
Especially when they make it so things could fall apart and you just put it back together and it's no big deal.
Yeah. It definitely adds to like the kid friendly element to it too, because you're not seeing like when something blows up, it's a bunch of Lego pieces blowing up. Like even the fire is made out of Lego pieces, so it's just like okay, that's a little bit less like violent in my mind, because it's just it's Legos. The kid could build that with their Legos if they wanted, but it's also not going to hurt anybody because it's just colors.
Well, I mean, if someone steps on it might hurt them a lot.
That's true.
It could impale them. Like even President Business's like super weird robot legs are literally just two pillars that you pop him onto and you're good to go. Like I even like that because it wasn't like a Lex Luthor suit or anything. It was just like, oh, here you go.
Yeah, that's also like when they all their vehicles have the sticks that their hands can go into as opposed to steering wheels, and I was like, oh that's a fun little detail from Legos, because they can't grab a steering wheel, because then you'd have to turn their whole thing either way. You need a separate one for each arm.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Just the little things that I wouldn't have thought of.
That's what I think is like one of the big things I think like that's great about this is there's so many imaginative things that you were like, I played with Legos a lot as a kid. I did not think of half these things that that they've thought of in this movie and brought to life. And it's like, oh, that is such a clever use of, Legos in these different ways that it's like, yeah, you can't just have a person like swap out their chest, and that's, kind of original to the, the actual toys themselves.
Oh yeah, they right from the get go, like you know it's going to be ridiculous, but then as you get into it, you're like, okay. And for me, watching it for the 4,000th time, I actually start to look for like individual pieces. Yeah. I'm like, okay, oh, they use that there, okay. And with like Wild Style building her like race car thing at the beginning, and they use different types of it. You get their mechanics built in, or you get your other stuff.
Yeah,
like it's not exclusively the bricks.
Yeah.
And when they show your different universes, when they show like, oh, we got the Bionicles, we got the Nexo Knights, we got this and that and this.
Which I didn't know until I saw the Lego movie. I did not know Bionicles was. I thought Bionicles was like a competitor to Lego as opposed to a Lego product.
Part of their massive empire.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until that movie came out, and I was like, oh, that's cool. How did I miss that? Like, I had Bionicles when I was a kid. I wasn't that into them because they're just. I think they're the more expensive toys, if I'm not mistaken, and
you could buy smaller Bionicle sets.
I had the one single dude.
Exactly. That's what made them a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, well, it was like $10 or $12, $15 at one point, and you got the one dude.
Like a plastic tube, and then you snap the thing together. And
and it was like
we each
it was
got
like an action
one for
figure.
Christmas at one point.
Oh, I got all
the Bionicles.
Yeah, I had a handful. We still have my parents still have all the parts from them. They've just been broken down and
they've just been broken down. I threw away.
Never reassembled.
Yeah.
The nice thing is that depending on the other parts that you have from other sets, you can combine the Bionicle pieces into the into the regular Lego pieces. So sometimes when I'm building, because I am not ashamed to say that I will still play Lego.
I literally bought 3 Star Wars kits last year.
Yep.
And that was like a 2-week span for me, and it was amazing.
I just like sitting down with the ridiculously large tub that my parents have and putting pieces together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would love to have a Lego barber pole. That's like my fucking dream. But where am I going to get that much white, red, and blue? I don't have $4,000.
Get a creator kit, which are the multicolored kits. You get like 4 of them at $20 a piece, and you put them together, and then you've got a bunch of extra for your
you use the other colors for the inside, and you just use the white for the outside.
And you fill it up. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. But I want it to be like 4 feet high.
Oh well, now you're
that's why
like 6
I was
inches
saying
wide.
The inside has to be different colors.
Yeah.
So you could.
I wouldn't even fill the inside. Like hot glue that shit. Pop it in. Use it as like a time capsule.
Fair enough. I'm telling you could do it.
Oh, it's definitely
without having to go to the Lego store at Yorkdale. And
I would definitely buy knockoff Lego. If I'm being honest, I would definitely buy knockoff Lego.
Speaking of
I
knockoff
respect
Lego,
that.
before we segue into what we watched this week, do we want to take a minute and just talk about this train wreck that is the Playmobil movie that's supposed to be coming out?
I thought we've already
Yes.
addressed that.
We
Yes.
did, but we're going to talk about it again because we're
We'll
talking
talk about it
go
again.
ahead.
So its release date is the 22nd of November, 2019. So that's
Later
still a
this
while
year.
away.
Yeah.
Its cast so far, which is not very large,
Well, that's
includes-
weird because if it's an animated, it should be done by now.
You'd think so. It includes Daniel Radcliffe, Adam Lambert, Jim Gaffigan, and Megan Trainor are the ones that jump out to me. There is not a whole lot here. There's a trailer that I have not.
I'm watching the trailer right now.
Okay,
I
so you
avoided that trailer on purpose.
you do that while I continue talking about how the the shots, like the stills from it, look pretty awful.
What's it called?
But-
Play.
Okay, you know what it looks like?
Playmobil.
It looks like that,
Playmobil.
like Minecraft. It looks like a Minecraft video game as a movie.
Fantastic.
Just with better graphics. It's about real people who get sucked into a Playmobil world.
Wow. So it's like Jumanji / Lego Movie.
Yeah.
That's not original at all.
It is also known as Playmobil: The Missing Piece, which feels like a Lego Movie ripoff to me.
Does it say it's French?
They should call it Playmobil
It's-
The Waste of Time.
It's from it's made in Montreal.
Oh, okay, that's what it. Okay, that's why it's French.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a
of-
Western scene. They're ripping off the Lego movie directly.
There's a what scene?
A Western scene. Someone just, like a bad guy just walked out of a saloon. And
Well-
dinosaurs.
I mean, to be a little bit fair, I'm sure there are Playmobil.
I don't care. Lego did the movie first. Ugh.
Yes, this is not going to do very well, I would imagine. Actually, it might.
Ew,
but
ew,
how many
ew.
kids
There's
do
a
you know that
Viking
play
who just
with
flossed.
Playmobil?
Ugh.
I couldn't
How many?
tell.
I don't know many kids, man.
Like identify their Playmobil as Playmobil is the other part. Like I feel like I probably was somewhere in my like grandparents' basement was some Playmobil, but
I never had it.
couldn't point to it and be like, yeah, there's my Playmobil. I couldn't tell
I
you
had
any
action
stories.
figures and Transformers and Lego
Yep.
because my parents loved me.
Yes.
Well, I mean, they told me they did anyways.
They did as much as they could.
Yeah, they bought me Lego.
I'm just like looking at this and I'm just like, oh god, like, yeah, I'm looking at the stills too on IMDb now, and I'm like, I don't even like I don't like the animation style. It's
No.
just it's a
It's la-
weird,
It seems lazy.
yeah, like the lighting on it is just not right. Like these people,
Yeah.
it's just like you have a shadow, but you're not showing any light on the people. And it's like, well,
This, I've skipped through the trailer, and
Yeah.
it looks like it unlike the Lego Movie is going to be more geared towards children directly
definitely.
than the Lego Movie was, which had a bit more of a wide appeal.
And
Yeah.
this one doesn't seem
More
to
of a adults are definitely going to end up watching
have,
this.
yeah.
Fluffy Junior, Fluffy Senior,
Jeff.
Jeff.
Meow.
Meow.
So good.
That's how I feel when I go to visit my parents, watching all their cats walk by.
So many cats.
Bruce, Bronco, Tinker, Jeff.
Meow.
Meow.
So, Andrew, you watched that movie this week.
I did. I also watched a Lego Batman movie this week.
So did Scott.
Yes,
So-
I did.
There we go. My list, other than that, is significantly shorter than I'm proud to admit.
Well, you watched Lego Batman 4 times today.
Four
so
times
that doesn't
today,
surprise me
that's-
that much.
That's almost as many times as I watched something on my list. That's a little teaser for those of you to.
Ooh.
Yeah. You wait and see. Wait and see
Ooh.
what that is.
I watched some Psych this weekend.
Nice.
Call.
Kendall's still on that, which is great because that means I'm still on.
Rewatching
I
it.
was going to say still on her, but that seems very inappropriate. Not what I meant, but okay.
Anyways,
I saw Vice again. It like I said last week, it's playing in town. Went and saw it
Oh,
again, and I liked it even more the second time
Good to know.
because I don't know about you guys. I don't know that much about political history prior to my existence.
yeah, but that for me is a conscious decision. I don't want to know.
That's fair. That's fair. Like, there's people I just didn't realize were around that fucking long. Like Rumsfeld. I had no idea that dude, like, prior to seeing it, I had no idea that guy was around as long as he has been. Or I had no idea prior to watching Vice that Dick Cheney was involved in politics before he became his CEO. It was just, this movie just enlightened me to how corrupt politics are in the States. And how if you get voted in as like a representative, you're forever going to be involved in DC politics. You know, you don't lose just because you're not that position doesn't mean you're not working there. They ship you somewhere or they put you in this department. You are forever going to be there. Super shady. Speaking of super shady, I watched Velvet Buzzsaw.
Oh, nice. How was that? I was meaning to check that out.
I am embarrassed to admit how much I liked it.
Why is that? Why are you embarrassed?
I fucking hate Jake Gyllenhaal.
Well, I think
he annoys the piss out of me.
You need to get over that because he's going to be in Spider-Man soon.
Yeah, I fucking hate Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, well, we both know my, positioning on people who've been in superhero movies. I just automatically like them all.
Yeah, well, fuck Jake Gyllenhaal.
Fair.
If he's Batman, I won't. I told you, if he's Batman, I won't go see those movies in theater. I won't.
I don't think he's going to get Batman, but I understand.
Fucking better not. John Hamm, I'll go see those movies 4 times. I'll cry every time.
I will
cry every time
for that shit.
Because Ben Affleck is the man. But anyways, it was pretty decent. It wasn't the best movie ever made. It was a movie that didn't need to be made, and it would have been better as like a short. I think like a short film.
Okay. As
opposed to like a feature length film. But it's a weird like horror type like art film. Because it's about art, and they do a good job with all the actors being like super pretentious and snobby and living that fucking like rich
sure
person.
It's so hard for them.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Us 1%ers have to pretend to be 1%ers. Ooh.
Yeah, ooh. Yeah.
I'm gonna pretend to be poor in the next one, and let's see how that goes.
Well, and they show a bunch of artists who pop up here and there. And they're all like, oh, yeah, we sold your piece for $7.3 million. And I was like, it was a big fucking metal ball.
Yeah, fuck.
Why would someone pay that money for it? What's the return going to be on that? And that part kind of bugged me because I know that's how it fucking goes.
Yeah, we can't even get into fine art because that'll just drive me insane.
Yeah. But this is another one that we talked about, and you mentioned it a couple weeks ago with was it the book balancing movies? Or the book balancing year where people just pop up in a whole bunch of things.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry,
John Malkovich is in this one.
Yep.
And he plays a super depressed artist for a little bit anyways. And he's in fucking everything this year too. He's in that I'm pretty sure he's in that upcoming Joe Bundy.
Joe Bundy.
Joe Bundy.
Can you? Yeah, that was
Ted
good.
Bundy. Ted Bundy.
Tell me about the Joe Bundy movie, though. I'm very curious about that.
Joe Bundy is a it's actually
it's like it's Monty Python's version of the Ted Bundy movie. It's like the Life of Brian.
Life of Brian, yeah, but it's Joe Bundy.
It's about Joe Bundy, and he's just a guy
who goes around accidentally killing people.
Not even. He doesn't have to go around accidentally killing people. He just looks like Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
And people keep mistaking him for him.
Yeah. And he's like, no, I'm Joe Bundy. But his name is spelled with 2 E's instead of a Y.
Exactly.
Ted Bundy. He's in the upcoming Ted Bundy movie, I think, as the judge. He was in this one. He was in Bird Box. And there was something else I've seen him in recently that I can't remember off the top of my head. Which makes me feel like I need to go IMDb search this bad boy. IMDb. But, like, it just, he keeps fucking popping up. I thought, the last time I was ever going to see him was, Joe Bundy 2? No, it's not. Zoolander 2.
Joe Bundy 2. Man, it's such a good concept. Who's going to make it?
Whoever wants to pay us.
You got this, Miramax. Bastards. Holy shit, apparently he was in a lot of things.
He's been in a ton of things.
Mile 22? Didn't watch that.
Nope. That came out last year, though.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been in a lot of shit recently. Huh. I forgot he was in Deepwater Horizon. That was a good movie. But anyways, yeah. As the guy who invented the members only jacket.
Yes.
But other than that, the only thing I watched was I finished the Ted Bundy tapes.
not to be confused with the Joe Bundy tapes.
Joe Bundy, yeah.
which is just some guy who's in his basement digging out his Led Zeppelin tapes.
Yeah, that's it. Joe, you need to move out next week. No, Mom. Cut off the crust.
With all of these tapes. Is some guy,
Where am I going to throw these fucking knives?
some guy from Duluth, Minnesota, who's got to get rid of a basement full of of old tapes.
Sounds like you're leading towards the next season of Fargo.
Yup. Accidentally strangles somebody with a bunch of magnetic strip.
Yep. Be a weird cross between Velvet Buzzsaw, where everyone keeps dying like in accidental ways. Spoilers. Keeps dying in accidental ways, but it's all related to the Joe Bundy collection of 80s tapes in Duluth, Minnesota.
Yep.
I'd watch that.
The bands, every time he finds a tape, a band dies.
Yeah, band. Yeah, the lead singer of a band dies,
and then because it's theoretically Fargo. We've already been down that road, so now that's how it's going to be. He'll die in a freak vehicle accident with the tape stuck in the with a tape stuck in his car.
And as it flips over, we see the Fiero flip, crash, and the tape gets stuck in the tape deck. Yeah. And it's just the Proclaimers playing over and over and over again.
That's the kind of gold I was looking for right there.
And I will walk 5.
You started later in the song than I thought.
Yeah.
I was gonna start.
And that cues Marshall Erickson's dad, Marvin Erickson, going and buying it from the wreckers.
And then the final credits will just be an indie pop version of that song.
Yeah. Did we just write a movie?
I think we somehow did.
Or a Netflix miniseries?
We just need to get rights to it.
Jesus.
Just need
so many crossovers. Worth it. But that's all I watched this week.
That's all you watched this week.
And that's all I created this week.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you should take a break now. We just wrote a whole movie.
Yeah. And I created a main character. Joe Bundy.
Joe Bundy.
So, Craig, what did you watch this week then? Any Joe Bundy?
It was a short week for Craig. I'll start with my most recent thing I watched. I sat down to put some Netflix on. Wasn't sure what I was going to watch while I was eating dinner, and turns out Ray Romano put out a special.
Yeah, I think that literally came out today or yesterday.
First time in 23 years.
Makes a lot of sense. I think the concept is fantastic because everybody else is putting out gigantic theater shows, and
he's doing the more
went
localized
to the Comedy
small
Cellar
stuff.
in New York, and did his and didn't tell it like it was not announced or anything like that.
Okay.
So he showed up and did his set, and then I haven't finished it yet. I'm still on the Comedy Cellar portion of it. But the concept is that he did a set at the Comedy Cellar, all taped, and then
walked around the corner,
leaves and goes around the corner to the next comedy club that is owned by the same people, and does another set there unannounced. Right so on. I thought that was kind of a cool idea. It's a different feel.
Yeah, no, I like that idea.
Part of me really likes that they're bringing a lot of these old, like, retired in quotations comedians back and giving them specials.
This is again that paycheck thing I was talking about. Like, especially with Netflix, it's like that's a one-time paycheck, just a big chunk one. They can just be like, oh, kids' college is paid for. Okay.
Yeah, but like part of me likes it, part of me doesn't, because I think we're going to see a lot of comedians who should just be remain buried, getting specials, but that we're going to see a lot of the ones that were like, oh shit, you know what? They were huge back in the day. It's good to see it. Like Ray Romano.
Yeah.
He was one of the funniest. He's in some conversations being the funniest comedian out there.
Yeah, Joe Rogan puts him up there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say he's funnier than Seinfeld.
Oh yeah.
He's not. I don't think he's worth as much as Seinfeld, but
that's
I'd say he's funnier.
Super funny
Seinfeld
story.
Had a
about
better TV show.
Oh, absolutely.
I remember Joe Rogan was telling me, or not telling me, he was
Telling
telling
you.
Yeah.
Man, you have conversations with Joe Rogan. He hasn't been on the podcast yet? What are you doing?
Get your head out of your ass, Scott. Jesus.
Yeah, so I was listening to Joe Rogan, not talking, because that is definitely, I'm nowhere near that level of anywhere in my life. But yeah, no, I was listening to a Joe Rogan, and he was talking about those two, because their show started very close to the same time as each other. And one of them, I can't remember who it was, one of them was supposed to be cast in the other one originally, if I'm remembering this correctly now. And yeah, it's really funny, because then Seinfeld blew up, and everyone loved Raymond blew up in its demographic, but it didn't quite hit the same level.
They're very different shows.
Yeah.
Very different.
One of them's a little more like family oriented,
Yeah.
and then the other one's a little more oriented towards like the single New
people.
Yorker.
Oh yeah. Definitely very different shows, but in their own very unique kind of audiences. But yeah, I remember, like, I'm pretty sure it was Joe Rogan who was talking to like some other comedian, because that's how they always get to talking about these things, and
Yeah.
how it was like those two were like definitely two of the funniest stand-ups, but then they both got their own shows and stopped doing stand-up for like 15, 20 years. So that's the part I like about seeing these guys come back too, is that some of them stopped because they hit it big with the TV show, but now it's like, well, some of them were funnier as, stand-ups, like Tim Allen. He didn't do stand-up again. Like, I don't know if he's even done it again since then, or hasn't done a special again since.
No, he's done some of the Just for Laughs stuff over the last like 5 to 10 years, but I don't see him ever coming out with another special, and if he does, I don't think it'll go over well.
No.
Yeah,
Just for like
he's got a limited
modern
amount of stuff. Yeah,
Well, he was very, very like '90s dad.
yeah,
Like that was, and he's funnier to watch like in situational comedy.
definitely.
Being on in a TV show, but hearing him talk, you're kind of like, okay. Kind of like David Spade.
Yep.
Like he's. I feel like he's funnier to talk to
Yeah, he's funny
than he
in,
is
like,
to
an interview.
than he is
He's
to
a better
listen.
interviewer, yeah.
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 Like, or doing like some sort of improv, or
Yeah,
his stand-up is pretty good too, just because it kind of feels the same, but it still feels a little bit staged.
like I really liked him in Grown Ups because he was just a fucking dick. He was just useless, and that seems like David Spade. like he was big back in like the 80s and the 90s, and then just dropped off appropriately. After 8 Simple Rules, he kind of disappeared.
Yep, definitely. So I watched some of that. Ray Romano.
Yeah, that we got
Ray
real off
Romano,
topic
that's
off
what it
the
was.
Ray
I was
Romano,
like,
yeah.
I totally
Yeah.
forgot where we'd started that one from.
Ray Romano. I intend to finish it.
Yeah, I'm
Which is
definitely
a
gonna
new
check that out.
It's a new thing for me with stand-up because recently I've just been either really snobby or just bored. And
No.
They haven't had a lot of like. I started watching the Gabriel Iglesias one.
Oh god, I
That
can't
one
even
was
bring
so-
myself to go through
And I made like 15 minutes in, and I was like, these are all the same types of jokes.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
He
why I
is.
don't like Gabriel
Formulaic,
Iglesias.
I really liked him before.
He's great
But
when you first
he's one of
when
discover
he's,
him.
yeah.
He's one of those good once comedians.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Like
feel
Russell
that
Peters.
way too. Yeah.
Yeah, just like Russell Peters.
Or George Lopez. Or Eddie Murphy.
Yep. Yeah, I can agree with all that. Eddie Murphy's stuff was hilarious the first time, and then you have to give it a lot of time to really
Yeah.
appreciate it again.
That one I'm having
I feel like
trouble with
Eddie
'cause
Murphy was.
I've only ever seen it like very far parts. You know what I mean? Like, so-
Yeah, I feel like Eddie Murphy for me was a lot funnier as when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
When you're stupid and goofy and you think making vagina jokes are hilarious. And now I have more of a refined palate for my comedy. Tell me
Yeah.
funny ass stories. Don't just make a bunch of gay jokes and then sing a Michael Jackson song. Looking at you, Raw.
Raw's funny the first time.
That's like I'm struggling with this again because like I can't remember the last time I watched them, but I do remember enjoying them. So I'm like I'm not disagreeing, but I don't know if I agree either because I just haven't seen it in so long.
That's fair.
They're very cultural
fair.
too. Like they're when you think of
Yeah.
like comedy specials that really stick out in history, I would say that one is really up there. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of stood a little bit of the test of not the test of time because it's very dated,
Well,
but
yeah,
I mean, like,
it is dated.
it's
Raw
still
was
a-
talked or watched about a little bit in the stand-up comedy world. If that
You
makes
have
sense.
to kind of remember that Raw was a theatrical release too.
Yeah.
See,
like,
that's
it-
something
it
I did
was-
not know.
Yeah, well, the only reason I really know that is because my dad went and saw it, laughed so hard.
Your
he had to get
dad
it-
went and saw it?
He
Oh,
laughed
man.
so hard that he had to get his appendix removed.
What?
They may or may not be related. But
That's
he
a
says
thing?
he says I don't think they're. I don't
Is
think
it-
they're related.
he got appendicitis from
He
watching.
went and saw Raw in the theater, and then same day had to get his appendix removed.
That's
Jesus. I
so you
can't.
say
No.
they might not
The
be
weirdest
related,
part
but
of that is
feel
I
like
can't
there's
picture
gotta
your
be
dad
something.
sitting through it.
Well,
I know your dad. I've met him. I can't picture your dad sitting there and watching right through a
So,
Eddie Murphy special.
my dad, 100%. My mom,
Yeah.
you'd have
Oh,
to
never.
pick me up off the floor if she
I feel
told me
like-
that she ever went and saw that.
yeah.
Like
I feel like your mom would just tell him to shut it off.
I can see
In mid
Middle
comedy
of
special,
theater.
like too
Crowded,
much.
sold-out
No,
theater.
thank you.
Turn this off,
I can
please.
I can 100% see I know my dad would do it because his sense of humor he represses it a little, because look at who he's married to, but like
Looking at you, mom.
yeah, his sense of humor is kind of similar to mine. He just doesn't expose himself to it as much.
That's fair.
So
That's
yeah,
fair.
he could
Doesn't
do it.
embrace
He
it.
just doesn't have the outward appearance of being the
That's
guy
fair.
that went to see Eddie Murphy's Raw in the movie theater. But he did, and he would do it again.
It was a matinee.
Would he do it again if he had his another appendix had put back in? He had to be tested by that
Probably
again.
not, since he said that was close to the worst
Yeah.
pain he's ever experienced.
Yeah.
That's
before,
what I've heard about it.
yeah. So other stuff I watched this week, since we're still talking about Ray Romano.
Somehow.
So I will admit that that news is what influenced this, but I began watching Get Me Roger Stone on Netflix,
Okay.
partially out of boredom and partially out of curiosity. It's an interesting documentary, to say the least.
I imagine Roger Stone is a lawyer.
Really, he was he did a lot of campaign stuff for Republican campaigns
Oh, I heard about this. Okay.
from not Nixon all the way up.
Yeah.
Didn't he get
Yeah.
fired by Trump too, or something
He
like that?
was just arrested.
Oh, that's what
Oh,
I know.
shit.
That's why I know his name. Okay.
Yeah, that's why he's in. So he was in the news because the FBI arrested him like 2 weeks ago
Gotcha.
for his involvement in something related to collusion with Russia.
Okay.
So that's why I was watching it. But basically, it just outlines how much of an influence he's had on Republican politics since the 70s. And so it's interesting to see how involved really started the is it lobbying that he technically like had a big hand in, something like that.
Really? Like
Yeah, like it wasn't really a
lobbying
big
being
thing.
allowed?
Yeah, it wasn't
wow.
wasn't really a big thing. I think that's it. I might be wrong.
That would make
I-
sense to me though, because like
That's a very
pretty big kind
right
of-
wing thing to do.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, it made them like, yeah, it was basically the concept. I'm remembering it now. Was like they were the first people to kind of figure out that you put a lot of money into getting somebody into office, so then you want to make money once they're there, rather than just kind of disappearing. So that was the whole point, was that like they got in, but then they were making money off of the fact that they'd got all these people into the office.
American politics.
American politics.
American politics.
Over here we have pay
limits.
for access
That's it.
scandals.
Yeah. It's so much better.
Where if you do pay for access, you get in trouble.
Yeah.
So I watched that. Watched more This Is Us. Still entertaining. Still gonna keep watching it. Still better than I thought it was gonna be.
That's good. That's really good. Probably. I felt like I
Give it
shot
a-
on it a little bit, but it's just
Give it a
not my
try.
type of. It's just not my type of show.
It's not for everybody.
Stories
You'll-
about
you'll-
people, just like
you'll,
dull to me.
Your,
you
your
know?
heart will soften one day, Scott, and you'll watch it.
Potentially.
You'll watch it. You'll watch it.
Potentially.
It'll happen. I watched Incredibles 2 about 400 times this weekend.
I didn't.
Is
get
that
to
a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing. I'd never seen it
Yeah, well, just got out.
And now you've seen it 400 times.
I have seen it 400 times. I know lines from that movie now.
I've only seen it twice.
Oh, amateur hour.
Still at 0.
Yeah. One of those was in theaters. It was a matinee.
It was a matinee. Nice. Yeah. It's a good movie. A couple times. It does get exhausting.
That's why I haven't watched it yet.
A couple times in. Yeah. Like I remember The Incredibles being really good. Incredibles 2 is still pretty good. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm older now.
That's what I was
but
just thinking in my head.
The story just feels tired and long. Like there's not a whole lot of intrigue or anything in it. There's not a whole lot of suspense. It's just like,
Yeah, you know what's gonna happen.
like from what I gathered from the several times that I watched it, not all at once, by the way. I never sat down and watched the movie. I've seen the whole movie, but different parts every single time it was replayed. So I've seen the whole thing all the way through. But from what I gathered, there isn't a whole lot of suspense or anything in the movie. Not a whole lot of intrigue either. The actual main plot is pretty it's slow moving and happens really quickly. It's like watching the 1517 to Paris, but better. The whole reason you watch the movie happens in like 5 seconds, and then the rest of the movie is just a whole lot of setup. It's pretty entertaining though. Like it's a funny movie. They do some things really well. I don't know if you haven't seen it, watch it.
Yeah, I was planning to watch it this weekend. I just couldn't commit to it because I was like, it's almost 2 hours long.
The trick is to hang out with a 6-year-old.
Craig, we were talking about this earlier.
Make sure his parents are aware. Or her parents. I don't judge. But I do judge. Don't be hanging out with 6-year-olds.
Unless you have a reason.
Unless there's a reason.
Unless you're related to them.
Exactly. Or you've got a reason.
Or another reason, yes.
The last thing I want to talk about, and I can't believe I haven't yet, is less of a TV show or a movie and more of, I guess it's kind of like a video podcast, kind of, but it's long format. Have you guys heard of the interview show Hot Ones?
Nope.
They
eat hot wings.
Yeah,
right?
they eat hot wings. They interview people that are like
it's a
musicians
YouTube
and
channel, I
actors and
believe,
stuff.
right?
Yeah, it is. It's by First We Feast.
Okay.
So we started watching those at work. We've been watching them for a while now, but we just kind of pick and choose at them. And I felt like today was the day I was going to talk about it. They're really entertaining. The interviewer is not great. His presentation skills leave a lot to be desired, and I realize that's a person in a glass house that is throwing stones, because I'm not exactly the pinnacle of broadcasting myself. But
I'm glad you said that because I was about to comment about that too. Like, and then I'm like, wait, nope, yeah, I shouldn't throw no stones.
yeah, exactly. I am not. I will gladly throw stones, but I realize that I'm throwing stones.
My own fucking glass house.
Yeah, that's fine. I can patch a couple windows.
Well, what if there's if they destroy the whole house? You can't patch windows. There's no house.
That's why I've got insurance.
Fair enough.
So it's entertaining. It's fun to watch someone break down mentally.
Yeah, no,
over hot wings. Like the
that's the
one
part
we
I'm
watched
curious
today
about.
was Nick Kroll, and he just friggin' lost it, basically.
I would sweat so much. Like
Exactly. Well, every time I watch it, it's like I wouldn't have made it
No.
past the siracha. Like I can't make it past the siracha.
Oh, I'm glad that I'm definitely on the same level as you, Craig. We would have lost the first
Yeah,
round.
yeah.
Like,
I wouldn't even have
shortest interview,
agreed
yeah.
to it.
Exactly. But I like the idea. Like I like that they're switching up these like types of interviews as opposed to everyone just sitting down talking. It's like
Well, part of what makes that interview interesting is that you're gonna eventually break somebody down, so you're catching them off guard.
yeah.
The format is interesting because it's not all like, hey, what do you got coming out? And,
Yeah.
oh, tell me this ridiculous story about the thing that we both know about. It has like they talk about like weird pictures on their Instagram feed, and Sean pulls up stuff that's like little known things and asks weird questions about different collaborations that they've done, things like that. But like, and slowly they're getting disarmed by the heat,
Yeah, that's what I was
depending on
thinking.
who they are. But then it also, like, you get a window into the kind of person they are, because they become a lot more personable
Yeah.
when the heat's starting to get to them. You can tell how they react to the heat, but then you can also tell based on how much of the wing that they actually eat. So like Nick Kroll ate the entire wing,
Yeah.
all 8. But Weird Al was on, and he was pretty entertaining, but he took like a tiny little nibble, just a little taste.
Yeah.
And so that gives you an idea of the different kind of person. Then you watch how they react to it, and if you're taking little bites and you're breaking down.
I can imagine Weird Al like putting it on. Like,
Oh yeah, well, the most ridiculous was Gordon Ramsay.
oh really?
That one's
find it
recent
interesting.
too. That was their season 8 premiere, and that was he was way over the top, but it was kind of fun to like. He was one of the best interviews.
Oh, I love Gordon Ramsay just getting talked to and talking about.
I would
random
recommend
shit,
it.
yeah.
It's a
definitely gonna
glorious
check that
half
out, yeah.
hour of wing eating.
Well, I'm kind of curious about that because he definitely does have that side where he's a performer. Like he's
Exactly.
half
Oh
performer,
no,
half
100%.
chef, right?
He
Yeah.
goes way over the top. Everybody they provide milk and water, so you've got something to drink
Yeah.
along with it, and napkins and stuff like that. He
So you
brought
drop
stuff
dead.
with him. Like he's got donuts and lemon and lime juice and like bread and just all kinds.
What a courteous motherfucker.
I highly recommend.
I think I'm gonna put that one on after we finish.
Yeah, it is an It's half an hour.
Yeah, no, that's
You
perfect
get
size.
a bit of a window into the mind of Gordon Ramsay,
Which I
and it's
always
just
love.
it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I've heard about that show a few times because Joe Rogan like talked to different comedians who have been on it or different people who've been on that.
So
before.
so many comedians have been on it.
Yeah, like it's such a small niche, not niche, small knit group, the comedy community in LA, right? So
Yeah.
like especially with that, like the podcast and YouTubers, they all know each other, they all help each other out. So yeah, I'd heard about it, I just never gotten to trying to find it because I just never think of that stuff. I listen to podcasts at work and then forget about the stuff. But yeah, no, that sounds interesting. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I recommend it. It is. It's aside from Sean being a mediocre at best interviewer, it is a good show. And sometimes he doesn't get in the way, and other times it just feels. It's usually if the person he's interviewing isn't
Yeah.
very
Charismatic.
engaging.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
understand what you
exactly.
mean. He doesn't know how to work. He doesn't know how to make it
He-
come out of the ones that don't have the charisma.
It all feels very scripted. It may not be. He may be very good at doing his, but it all feels like his part is very scripted. Like the way that he talks sounds like he's
Gotcha.
been rehearsing his lines, and
That's
so that
fair.
comes off a little bit strange.
Okay, no, I get it.
And-
I know how that exactly how that comes off sometimes. 'cause I'll do
Exactly,
that
and he's
accidentally, yeah.
pretty monotone.
Okay.
So it may just be that I don't like how he sounds, but
I'll check it out.
I don't know. That's all I watched this week. So Scott, hit us
Oh.
with the list.
Well, I didn't watch too much. Like I said, I watched Lego Batman. I didn't get to any of the other Lego movies because
400 times.
no, just once. I just watched it once last night.
just once.
Yeah. Well, I'd forgotten till yesterday to think about what we were doing for this week, and I was like, oh yeah, we already talked about that. But anyways, I watched that. I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp because that was recently added to Netflix, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I like it. I enjoy it. There's nothing else to say about that. And then I watched this other new show called Night Flyers, which is based off a novella by George R.R. Martin. I keep saying George R. Martin when it's George R.R. Martin, who's the guy who wrote Game of Thrones. And that was
Yeah, he pulls down more nerd chotch than anyone.
yeah. And this was a new sci-fi one that came out, just added to Netflix. It was about this like ship trying to go make contact with this unknown alien thing, and I thought I was gonna like the show. I was a little bored by it. It had way too much going on for like sci-fi's generally you'll have one like main sci-fi element to get you through the movie, right? You know, like
Yeah.
you got robots in, you know, Blade Runner
Disguise.
and stuff like that. But in this one, you've got like so many different elements from sci-fi. You've got robots, you've got space travel, you've got telepaths, you've got hybrid robot humans and people
So it's
whose
like
consciousness
X-Men
is
meets sci-fi.
exactly. There's just so much going on, and it's like I don't know what, and it doesn't all come together at any point. And it's just like I don't know what happened this whole season. I don't know why it took you so long to get here. You know what I mean? Like, it's just they introduced a bunch of stuff, and barely any of it paid off, and they all end up dead at the end of the season. Spoiler alert.
Spoilers.
Like, and it seems like there's gonna be a next season, but I don't know.
But you hope not.
I kind of don't. Like, I'm curious to see where they would go from here because there's a lot of things they didn't answer that they set up in the first one. But then it's also like, well, you killed a couple of characters who I was interested in, and it was weird. I thought I was going to enjoy it a lot more than I did. It was a little bit of a chore to get through, so I do not recommend that to anybody. Yeah. It was just slow. Like, I love sci-fi, and I love sci-fi elements, but they have to like lend to the story as opposed to just being, oh, that's a cool thing to add to a story. It's like the telepath played in and some other, like a couple other things, but there was just stuff like the one dude's mom's consciousness lives in the computer of the ship that they're flying, and it's like, well, okay, so we got space, we got Space Odyssey going on. Well, we've also got Alien and some other sci-fi, all these going on in the same ship, and it's like, just pick a lane, So that wasn't that great, but I watched it nonetheless. And yeah, then the only other thing I watched was that cooking show I told both of you about before we started recording called The Final Table. That's a new Netflix one. I like it. If people like cooking shows, they should watch that one on Netflix as well. I won't go into too much more about it because I talked both your ears off already about it.
Quick and painless.
Yes. But that's all I watched this week. It was a short week.
Beauty. And that's all we watched this week.
That's all we did this week. That's not true.
That's not true.
As far as they know, it's true.
We just told them it wasn't true.
Well, we can edit that out, maybe.
That's fair. Well, all they need to know is that everything is awesome.
Everything is cool when you're part of the Forgot to Grow Up team.
Thanks for listening this week, guys.
Everything is awesome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.